So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, we've obviously had Conor Benn fight Samuel Vargas and he knocked him out. Listen, I was shocked. I have to say I was impressed. I was shocked at how impressive Vargas looked. How impressive Conor Benn looked. Now, I don't know whether that was the fact that Vargas, is obviously had a tough career. He's been beat up quite a few times. But nevertheless, I did say that if Conor Benn puts in an impressive victory like that, which I didn't expect it to be, I expected it, Conor Benn might struggle in this fight. So you have to give the guy respect and you have to say, what a win. What a performance. You can't take that away from him. It was unbelievable performance by Conor Benn. You can't say it was anything else. It was an exceptional performance by Conor Benn. He literally dominated and battered Samuel Vargas. And let's be honest, I don't think any of us thought that that he would dominate in that kind of fashion. I think most people thought this would be a kind of competitive fight, and he's just gone in there and blown him away, literally blown him away. And it was a very, very impressive performance, I have to say. And to be honest, I was wrong. And this is what I say to you guys, that when I make these videos, I'm giving my prediction on what I've seen so far and what I see the skill set. I don't not necessarily right. Some of you get riled up in the comment section when I reply back. It's my opinion, right? I was wrong. And like I said, I keep the same energy after the fight, is that I tell you, listen, I was wrong. I was expecting this to be a tough fight, and I actually thought Vargas could beat him. But I was wrong. He put in a stellar performance. And now he's catapulted himself into a great mix. Now, I don't know whether he just caught Vargas cold, because when Amir Khan fought Vargas, he caught him cold, but he wasn't able to finish the job. He wasn't able to finish the job the way Ben finished the job. So it was a very impressive performance. It was a very quick knockout. And yeah, I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised. It was a really, really emphatic win, and a win where he was hyped, he was gassed. As you can imagine, you would be gassed when you've gone in against a guy like fringe world level and you wiped him out. But, I saw a video yesterday with Sam Jones and he said, this is great matchmaking. But let's be honest, I don't think anybody thought that he would look that impressive. And right now, you would say that it doesn't mean a lot. What I will say is that I think people need to pump the brakes a little bit. It was an impressive performance, but for example, I'll give you an example. Phil LaGreco for Amir Khan got wiped out in a round. Phil LaGreco went the distance with Sean Porter. It doesn't mean anything, that he knocked him out in a round and it was impressive. Yes, because remember, this is a guy that's been in wars with a lot of those tough guys. Like, what's his name? He fought Collazo and had a split decision. So Vargas has shown throughout his career he's very durable. Now, a lot of people thought this was an early stoppage. I don't think so. I think Vargas was there for the taking and I think Ben was getting to him. So I think the referee was right. That's just my opinion again. Some may disagree. I thought it was a right stoppage. I think they just destroyed him. Now, the next move for Conor Benn is going to be very important, because I think the next move now, Eddie Hearn's talking about getting him out again in July, which I don't think that's going to be any kind of, I think it's probably be someone of that level. What I will say is Conor Benn's improved massively. And he's come a long way and he's improving and he's got a real hand speed. The hand speed looked frightening. I've got to say, the hand speed he was fast. And I always thought, I still think he's a little wild. I don't think we really got to see a lot tonight because he just blew him away. But again, he is wild, and against the more guys, at top world level, it's going to be a lot difficult. It's going to be much more difficult, to fight the way he fights, because those guys are going to have something waiting for him. They're going to counter him and hit him hard. And like I said, Vargas is a fringe world level guy. This isn't like some kind of killer. We're not talking about, he went 12 rounds with Amir Khan, but that was a shell of Amir Khan. That wasn't even in his prime. And anyway, he got beat up in that fight. For me, I think Khan won virtually every round. But it doesn't mean a lot. It doesn't mean a lot. Now, the next move is going to be interesting, because he called out Amir Khan and he wants that fight. Personally, I did say that, I said before I saw this fight that I think Amir Khan will beat him. I'd actually have to change my mind, because Amir Khan, I don't know. Listen, I still think it's not a gimme. I still think that Amir Khan's more than capable of beating someone like Conor Benn, no doubt about it in my mind. But because of the inactivity and I don't know where he's at, Conor Benn looks like dangerous for Amir Khan at this stage, very dangerous. That would be a very, very dangerous fight for him. And I don't know whether he's going to be... I don't think Amir Khan's going to be interested, if I'm honest with you. I think Conor Benn should be looking at guys like Avanesian. By the way, Eddie Hearn said that Amir Khan's in the top 15. Amir Khan's not fought in 2 years. The last time he fought was against Terence Crawford, or he fought Billy Dib. But Billy Dib was a featherweight. Amir Khan's not fought anybody for almost 2 years. What, is he just going to be in the top 15 just because of his name and what he's done in the past? Yeah, Amir Khan was a great fighter. And let me point that out, because there's a lot of people that don't really have a lot of knowledge. Amir Khan was a great fighter back in his time, right? He's Olympic silver medalist at the age of 17, a former unified light welterweight champion that's beaten 12 former world champions, right? And beat some former world champions soundly, like Zab Judah in a unification fight, absolutely blew him away. You know, so let's not make out like, you know, oh, Ben's this guy. Ben's not won a title yet as a pro. He's not won any title. And Johnny Nelson was making comments like, you know, Amir Khan's not going to want to get in with him. Sean Porter's he'll beat Sean Porter. I was like, wow, is this guy for real? Like, he beat Sean Porter. Like, the guy just beat a journeyman at world level that gets beat by everyone. Fair enough, he was impressive and he did great, but to say he beat Sean Porter, that's come on, man. You're running before you're starting to run before you can walk. You know, I say a fight with Avanesian would be... Avanesian's got a big profile now because he beat up Josh Kelly in his last fight. That would make perfect sense. And now that fight could potentially do big numbers. But what they're doing is they think Amir Khan's done. That would be a pay-per-view fight. And Eddie Hearn will probably think Conor Benn beats Amir Khan. Amir Khan's not going to want to take that fight. He's not gonna. Let's be honest. I'll be very surprised if Amir Khan has any interest in a Conor Benn fight. Listen, I followed Amir Khan's career, you know, and I just don't see what's in it for him. What's in it for him? Amir Khan doesn't care about a payday. Like, he wants to fight Kell Brook. Now, the British public probably would rather see the Benn fight now because Benn's developing. But in my opinion, Benn should be fighting Virgil Ortiz. Benn should be fighting Jaron Ennis. You know, why isn't he calling guys like that out? And moving his way up the rankings. Amir Khan, Kell Brook, these guys are like top. They're not even the top 15, 20 now. Their careers are on the slide. I don't get it. Like, I think Conor Benn should be focusing on like names that are relevant on the world scene. Amir Khan's a big name. Yes, he still is a big name, and people will be interested even if he fights somebody that's a no name because of his name. But in terms of him being relevant at world level, he's not. Unfortunately, and like I said, I'm the biggest Amir Khan fan. But at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. That at the minute, Amir Khan's... When was his last fight at welterweight? It was out against Crawford. His last fight at welterweight was Billy Dib. But Billy Dib's not a welterweight. So like I said, when was his last win at welterweight? Against Vargas. You know, that was probably, what, 3 years ago? So what? He's not active anymore. And I don't think he's going to want to fight a young guy like Conor Benn. It doesn't make any sense for him. You know, I saw Amir Khan on his reality TV show and he didn't, you know, I don't think he has the same hunger for the sport, the way he was talking. Like, hunger, he still loves boxing and he still probably want to fight, but against somebody that is at his stage of his career, like a Kell Brook, that would probably, and the fact that they have a rivalry and he wants that fight. I don't know if Amir Khan would be enticed to fight Conor Benn. Listen, I wouldn't want to see it because I just think that if Conor Benn was to go and beat Amir Khan, it'd be a shell of him. And it's like with Brook and Khan, they're both at the same stage. So it makes sense. And two faded guys can make for a good fight. Conor Benn and Amir Khan. Conor Benn's a guy coming through. Amir Khan's a guy on the way out. So to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to see that fight, to be honest. So just giving you my opinion. But in terms of like if Khan was in his prime against Benn, then yeah, he would destroy Benn, in my opinion. But that's just, again, he would have destroyed Vargas in his prime as well, probably in 1 or 2 rounds as well. But like I said, I think we need to stop getting carried away. It was a great performance, but against a guy that, you know, normally gets beat against. Now, Conor Benn won better than these guys, but remember, he was also a guy that's taken a lot of punishment. So Conor Benn got a more faded, shot-worn, a guy that's taken a lot more punishment. So let's obviously see what happens. Let's see. I think what's going to be intriguing is to see what Amir Khan's response is going to be, because I don't think Amir Khan's going to want to fight Conor Benn. What's it in for him? Nothing. If I was Amir Khan, I wouldn't want to fight Conor Benn. What's it in for me? Yeah, big payday, but he could get a big payday against. Look, he fought Billy Dib for what, $7 million according to the report. So why would he want to fight Conor Benn? I don't see him wanting that fight. A British public's probably going to put pressure on him, but Amir Khan's not somebody that's going to be pressured by what people want him to do. I think he's had a great career, like I just pointed out, Olympic silver medalist, former unified champion, beaten 12 former world champions. Conor Benn now needs to build his legacy, because he's not beaten he's beaten Vargas, who's a decent fringe world level guy, a guy that's a tune-up for most of the top boys, and he's dispatched him, which is impressive. But it's time for Conor Benn now to step up against your Avanesians, because that performance says he should be stepping up against Avanesian. You know, you don't say I'm calling out the top dogs and you call out Amir Khan, who's really said himself that he's past his best, he wants to fight Brook and then finish, really. He said that. So Amir Khan doesn't want to fight Conor Benn. He has no desire. Even when he was talking about it, Sky, he said, you know, Conor Benn, you know, he needs to be worried about, like, he needs to be wary of Vargas. And he tipped him. He said he can be world champion like his dad. But he never mentioned anything about him wanting to fight him. So if I'm honest with you, I don't think he'll be interested in it. I think obviously a lot of these guys are just talking, trying to build up hype. But I don't think Amir Khan's going to want to fight Conor Benn. You know, I just don't think it's there. I think Eddie Hearn is trying to steer that Amir Khan to fighting Conor Benn and making it a big fight and hyping it up. But I think Amir Khan wants to fight Kell Brook. So it doesn't make any sense for him, really. Matthew Macklin said he wants to see one of Amir Khan or Kell Brook fight Conor Benn. But at the end of the day, what's it in for them, really? So I don't know. Let's see how things play out. I think it's going to be intriguing to see what Amir Khan has to make of all of this, because until we hear it from him, and if he gives an indication I'll fight Conor Benn, then we can talk. But right now, Conor Benn saying I want to fight Amir Khan and Eddie Hearn saying about Amir Khan is irrelevant, because let's be honest, the main man is going to be Amir Khan. That's going to determine whether that fight happens, because he's the one that's going to say, yes, I'll fight him or not. So as Conor Benn said, idols to rivals, but I just don't think Amir Khan's going to take that fight. I think Amir Khan wants to Kell Brook and then that's it. But who knows, right? If they can offer enough money on the table. See, I would prefer Conor Benn to wait Taylor, right, to have his fight against Ramirez, because Taylor's going to move up regardless. Josh Taylor's going to move up to 147 whether he loses or wins, right, against Ramirez. That's a potential fight, because Conor Benn's now world level, right? If he's beaten Vargas, then maybe Conor Benn and Josh Taylor can get it on. That'd be a big fight. Especially if Taylor was to lose to Ramirez, because I'm pretty sure Taylor's not going to stay at 140. He'll move up. Regardless of the result, he'll move up. So Taylor and Benn will be a good fight. Why aren't people talking about that? So yeah, that's my take on it. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to know your opinions. I'd love to know what you made of his performance. What do you think? Who do you think he should fight next? And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.